Good afternoon. We're going to talk to you this afternoon about your bucket list. And it's not quite the same bucket list that you think we're going to be talking about. You think a bucket list is all the things that you have to do before you leave this plane. What we're talking about is compartments. We're talking about different buckets that belong to you. You have the bucket of love, you have the bucket of money, you have the bucket of passion and desire, you have the bucket of career, the bucket of children. Bucket, bucket, bucket. We could go on the number of buckets that a human has. There's a lot of them, you see. And dependent upon how you are feeling in each one of the buckets will be a determining factor on when you're going to see something in form that you're wanting to see, you see. You've probably heard us in past recordings say to you, if you have a little negativity going on in your life and maybe you've lost some money and you're not too good in the financial bucket, go to a bucket that feels good. Go to a bucket where you have a good relationship, where maybe your job is good, maybe your health is good. Maybe there is something else that you can take your focus from that can lift you up a little bit or start to fill that bucket a little too full so that some of it can leak over into the bucket that is needing a little bit of energy, you see. We've got another bucket to tell you about that we didn't mention in the last recording. There's also that bucket that's overfilled with negativity. There's also that bucket that no matter what you do, you cannot take your focus from it. You can't deny it. You try to go on all the other buckets to make yourself feel better, but that one bucket, you cannot let go of the content of it, you see. So what do? Well, we want to make you aware of that bucket has influence too. That bucket, if you can't take your focus off of it, it's going to leak out or leach out into your other buckets. It could wreck your job. It could wreck your health. It could wreck some of your relationships. Whatever it is that you value, that leaky bucket of all the negativity that you are focused upon, that you cannot get your mind off of, becomes a real problem and a pain in the neck for a human, you see. I bet you're looking for us to give you a solution. And we kind of have, because as long as you focus on something you are not wanting, you cannot see the result of what it is you are wanting. And so what do you have to do? You have to look really at what is there for you in looking at that bucket, aside from the story you're telling about it. Many of you are going to say, well, the husband does this or that, or the coworker does this or that, or I have a problem child, whatever it is. You can name a reason or a circumstance that one of your buckets is creating some negativity for you, you see. But we know the Creator's you. We know that the real problem lies within you. It's not within the bucket that is reflecting back at you what it is that it has received, you see. So now you have a little work to do. You have a little cleaning up to do. Take the one out of the equation, as difficult as this is going to be for you. Remove the one that you think is the problem that is causing that bucket to be out of balance. Take them right out of the equation, whoever it is, whatever it is. No money, a disrespectful spouse, a not attendant spouse, a child that's gone rogue, whatever it is. Take them out of the picture, you see. And go inside of yourself and look at what is needing healing. Look at what is wanting you to look at it, you see. Why do we get anything mirrored back to us anyway? Because the high part of yourself, or all that is, and the plan that is you, that was here prior to you ever coming to the earth plane, this plan that you had to live the life that you are living, is going to be forever calling you towards it. And sometimes it's going to do it by letting you know how good it feels in the direction you're going. And other times it's going to let you know by how awful you're feeling in the direction you're going, you see. But make no mistake about it. Your feelings, your emotions are for you. They're about you. They're not about the person in front of you, even though you have someone that is repeating offenses over and over again, who you think maybe if you got them out of your experience, everything would be fine. It's not fine, you see. There's a reason they're there. There's a reason you're having the experience that you're having, you see. And you have to look at what is the reflection. Do you feel disrespected? Do you feel that you don't matter? Do you feel that you're not enough, or that you don't count, or you're not valued? And we would tell you that you would never have one before you that is treating you this way and reflecting that back to you, unless this was the view or value that you held of yourself, you see. Sometimes you got to look back in your childhood. You got to look back at your parents. You got to look back through the lineage. You can. You don't have to. We're saying you have to. We shouldn't have said that. You can. Let's just say that. You're going through your bags now. We've talked about that. But when you go through your bags, you're just going to find more and more stuff in there that you don't like, you see, and more reasons to support what you don't like, what you're seeing, you see. So what are you going to do? You have to decide, put something new in the bag. You have to decide, I don't really know why it got there or how I emanated it or what caused me to feel in ways that have attracted this to me. But I know right now what I want because of it. And I'm going to put my focus on that, as difficult as it might seem, because there's nothing for me in the focusing on something negative. There's nothing going to change in that person or that circumstance. You can't change the way they think and feel or the way that they're going to treat you. All you can do is change. And you haven't really changed, because the way that you approach the ones that you feel are disrespecting you is with disrespect. It's why you're getting it. You think because you are justified in treating them this way because they have treated you that way. That's never going to get you anywhere. That's using the one in front of you as an excuse for the way that you are, you see. You have to know that you have to move with eloquence, with love. You have to move in ways that you would like to be treated, even when someone doesn't deserve it. That's the real kicker. That's the real challenge. That's where mastery comes in. You've heard us talking about mastery, and we said to you, it isn't that the master doesn't suffer. He does. But he doesn't become the sufferer. He decides to choose how he wants to feel. He decides to emanate in relationships how he wants to be treated. He doesn't respond to how he is treated. He emanates over and over again with unrelenting content, unrelenting desire, unrelenting force of focus. How would I want to be treated? This is what I will emanate back to this one. And we promise you, and we have promised you before, and we're going to promise you again, if you move in this way, the one will change, or he will leave your experience, or she will leave your experience, and you won't have to make a big to-do out of it. You won't have to make a declaration, I'm done, you're out. You don't have to do that. You just have to be that which you want to be. You just have to be that which you want to receive. You can't use the one as an excuse for the poor treatment that you give them as they treat you poorly. Doesn't work. It's why you're told to turn the other cheek. You have to do it. Mastery is doing it. Mastery is loving in the face of hate. Did you know that? Mastery is deciding to master this thing of life. Not to be victimized by it, not to cry in the corner and wish that everybody would treat you nice when you're not treating them nice when they're not nice to you. That's not how it works. You have to be the change that you want to see in the world and in all the experiences that you are interacting in. Are there things in the world that you don't like? Absolutely there are. But if you're going to respond to them in hate, if you're going to respond to them in your ignorance that you're going to change anything in this way of being, you're in for a sad life, you see, of conflict and misery. You have to be the change. You have to be the determiner of what you want in your bucket, and you have to emanate that regardless of what anyone else is putting in their bucket. And that includes the people that are close to you. If you don't want to throw them out of your experience, then you better learn to love them. And then if they can't align to that love, something miraculous is going to happen and they're going to disappear from your experience. We promise you that, you see. That's how it works. That's how the Creator creates. They don't do it by forcing. We've talked about forced action and inspired action. Be inspired to love. Be inspired to decide that every time you receive something from another or any experience that occurs that you're not liking, that you immediately decide to behave in ways that you are liking, that you are wanting. Turn it around and emanate to the universe what it is that you want. Don't emanate in your victimization. Don't emanate in your justification. They wronged me. They don't pay attention to me. They don't like me. Blah, 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 we would say. Where is it getting you? It's getting you nowhere. See? You have to be that love. You have to be that emanation of what you want to see. It's not just enough to run around saying, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want, and then don't be it. You have to be it. When you're raising children, this is the perfect example. You can talk all day long about what you would like to see in them, but if you're not it, they're not going to emanate it back to you. You have to be that example of love. You have to be that example of the good behavior. You have to be that in order to get that. So we hope that you really get this recording with the love and the support that is intended. It's not that we don't care. It's not that we don't have compassion, but we're not going to pity you until you get this understanding. We're never going to pity you. Sorry. But we're not going to move to pity because that is disempowerment. You have the power. Why should we pity someone who has control, who is a master, who is able to create anything that they want in their lives? Why should we pity you? We should not. Good day.